poor boy from the backwoods, thought I never would find my way. Sweet girl, straight from downtown, where I was just another face. They said that we should steer clear of each other, matches and gasoline, nothing but trouble. Said we'd never make it, but you ain't seen nothing yet. We're just getting started. We're just getting started. Southbound for the border, somewhere no one knows our names. But I know when I hold you, I'ma love you till the grave. We're just getting started. We're just getting started.
All right, mic's on. We're ready.
Ready? Cool.
Yep.
All right, so it is Saturday today, race day tomorrow. Got to check out the last little loop of the course yesterday, which was all road with a short little punchy steep climb, and then about 8 miles of single track within the last 10 miles of the race. Then we just drove all the way out here, so we're at roughly mile 30 on course. And so far it's been a lot of road and a lot of really smooth gravel. So yeah, I think for a BWR, I was expecting it to be a little bit rougher and gnarlier, and we haven't seen super far back yet, but so far it's definitely looking to be like a fast kind of road racy style race. But there are a ton of rollers, so it's definitely not going to be an easy race. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty fun, pretty interesting how it goes. So anyways, I came up here not knowing exactly what the course was going to be like, so I've got my bike all set up with a more conservative setup. I've got the Envy Hex 48 up front and a Pirelli Gravel H in the rear in a 45. This is a pretty quick tire, and I like these a lot, but they do lack grip, so I wanted to go with the Envy Hex up front to have a bit more grip. With that single track being right at the end, there are a few little slippery spots, and we're gonna be just pinning it when we're super tired. So I think I'm gonna keep this tire on just to be a little bit safer there. So other than that, the main thing you're gonna notice with my bike that's different from all the other races is I have switched to the new XTR setup. So I've got a Wolf Tooth 50 chainring up front, and then I've got a 10 to a 51 cassette in the rear. This thing is pretty bulletproof, and for the single track at the end, this is definitely going to be nicer to have than the 2x setup. So I think having a bike setup for the most important parts of the race, which that's going to be super important at the end there, is one of the keys, and I think this is going to be a pretty good weapon for the race. Plan right now is we're going to finish driving out to what's going to be aid station 2, and then I'm going to run the last kind of far out loop for my openers and see what that's all like, and then we're going to drive into the finish. So I pretty much know every inch of this course. As doing the recon, super important to know what's coming up. So how you guys doing?
I would just say this hard pack has a lot of kitty litter on top.
Yep.
And
you feel it?
I mean, there's that first turn. We almost overshot in the car. Like,
oh, gotcha.
it looks like Colorado roads to me.
Yeah.
You know, like
they're smooth, beautiful.
Yes,
oh.
Yeah. And you find a few rocks showing up here and there, but nothing is loose and chunky or sharp.
Yep.
It's gonna be super nice.
All right, so we are mile something on the course, way out the back Lollipop. Again, so far, nothing crazy. There was one minimum maintenance road we just drove down where there are some rocks kind of embedded in the ground here and there, but really not too chunky at all. Like, it's just a really amazing, beautiful, nice course.
Light is gonna
That's some skills.
This one in here, and this one right here.
So flowers, did they add flavor, or are they just purely visual? Or is there like an energy they add to the thing?
I don't know. Let's go with all of it.
All of it.
Yeah, all the above.
Flavor, visual, and energy.
Trip, chip.
All right, so we're trying to go as fast as possible tomorrow. Silka sent us this awesome chain waxing crock pot dealie. So we're using the strip chip because I haven't cleaned my chain since it was brand new when I got it. So we got the wax melting, and then we got the strip chip on top. And we can put a chain with some grease on it in here versus having to fully degrease it before putting it in. So, oh wait. No, so gently lower the chain using the cable coupler into the wax and lightly agitate for 30 seconds. Then you leave it in for 10 minutes. And then after that, you pull it out and you let it sit like this for 10 to 15 minutes before you install it back on your bike. Alrighty, so it's race day morning. Walking a little R right now. Got my pancakes done. Did a little bit of Pain Academy movement. I always like to do that in the morning just to open up the body a little bit. And yeah, it's quite nice out. Just a little bit brisk. High of 75 today, so pretty much perfect temps. Not a cloud in sight right now. So yeah, things are looking like it's gonna be a good day. Hello. Hello. Hi. Oh, you're so excited to see me already. I've only been gone for 5 minutes. Ready.
Yeah. Are you ready? Restart, Roxy?
Tie you to this track. Come hell high water, I'll leave you and never look back. Come hell high water, I'm gonna make you love me.
After a quick neutral rollout, we are now underway with BWR Montana, the fourth and final stop of the 2025 Quadruple Crown. Now, before I dive into the course, I want to go over a couple of the players that are here, both riders I'll be looking out for this race, and then for the overall Quadruple Crown series, as the win that I had in Utah moved me up a little bit, and I'm now within striking distance of getting on that top 5 overall podium. But I'd still say the main goal is a top 5 or better in today's race. Now let's start with the big 3, as in Russell Finsterwald, probably my #1 guy to watch. Second place at BWR Arizona, and had a really great ride in California, so he is leading the series and is probably the strongest guy here. Next up, we got Lance Haydet, who has also had some pretty solid races this year and is in second in the series. And then we have Daxton Mock, who maybe spent a little bit too much energy at the last race in Utah, but beat me in Arizona and California, and I'm definitely looking out for him as one of the strongest guys again in the race if he rides it smartly. Now, a couple other riders to watch out for are going to be Alexis Cartier, master of going in the breakaway, so we expect to see him up there. Cody Cupp, who is a fellow racer on Good Life with me and a strong guy that was there all the way to the last climb in Utah. Then we got Luke Musteller, who is Daxton's teammate, who I've heard is not as strong as Daxton, but still maybe someone to keep an eye out for. And then we have Nate Knowles, who is ahead of me in the Quadruple Crown. So he was someone I was trying to look out for. However, he got a pretty catastrophic flat tire early on and did not finish the race. So that is going to end his bid for the overall placing in the Quadruple Crown for 2025. So breaking down this inaugural BWR Montana course, it is going to be 111 miles with 8,000 feet of climbing, and 60% is going to be off-road. Now for the first 100 miles, it's pretty smooth gravel. It does get a little bit deep, kind of power robbing at times, but for the most part, there is nothing technical here. While 8,000 feet for the whole course is quite a bit of climbing, there's no real long sustained climbs, but rather a bunch of short 2 to 5 minute kind of punchy rollers over and over again. So this is right up my wheelhouse and has me very excited for the day, as I can play to my strengths and try and wear down some of the other guys. However, the last 10 miles has an 8-mile section of single track leading back into town that is slightly downhill, and with guys like Russell, Lance, and Daxton, I know I'm going to have my hands full if I let them all in there in front of me. So I really have to try and formulate a strategy here to try and get away from one or more of those guys before we get into that single track. With that first little test out of the way, I take a glance back and see that this small group I'm in here has a gap on the field, and I don't see either Lance or Nate Knowles in this group, so I decide to try and press on for a little bit. However, it is just too early in the race for us to make real separation, and the group does chase us back, and we all decide to relax for a bit as we make our way to mile 22, which is going to bring a 4-mile climb. Now, the average gradient is only 5%, so it's really not a super tough climb, and it's going to turn out to be more tactical as a few riders go off the front, including none other than Alexis Cartier. And now this is where I'm really having a split decision on whether to chase him and try and go for the break or not. As I said before, I want to try and get ahead of the mountain bikers in the group, and going for a breakaway with Alexis could be a great strategy to do it. However, I do want to let you guys know that I was sick for 3 weeks following Unbound and have only really been back to feeling normal and training well again for the last week and a half. So I decided not to try and follow Alexis, as I'm really unsure if I'd have the legs to stay out there all day long. And then for myself, I'm much better at throwing in those really hard punches from time to time and then just settling in between, and then chasing with a bigger group versus trying to do that long sustained effort with just one or two other riders. So that's the strategy I decided to go with and stay in the group as we make our way up this climb, with Alexis and one other rider getting away here.
Yeah.
It's just you, me, and the odds. We stuck together, we two peas in a pod. You dealt a bad hand, I'm there seizing the cards. We'll never be separated till we seeing the gods. We've been low together, high forever. Long as we go together, we'll die whenever. Be a light, couldn't let the darkness try you ever. Truth in my word, you I lie to never. And when the world gets a little too hard, wipe your eyes, put away your sorrow. When it's war, I'll be leading the charge, and I'll be still fighting for you tomorrow. Yeah, even with a blindfold or in different time zones, could find my way to you with my eyes closed. There's nothing between us. Go to Mars and Venus, stand in front of every one of them rocks they slinging and be a shield.
Be your shield,
Yeah.
in the fiercest battle I'll defend you.
I'll defend you
from all these arrows, and the sword I will keep you from danger. Let me be your shield.
Yeah, let's go. Let me be your shield, let me be your shield. Let me be your shield, let me be your shield. Let me be your shield, let me be your shield. Let me be your shield, let me be your.
We just got done doing a sharp, nice little effort up that last climb into the feed zone in hopes of thinning down this group enough to where we can start chasing down Alan and Alexi, who have about a minute gap on us right now. However, as you just saw, Luke, Daxton's teammate, went up the road and no one covered him. I had just got done doing a pretty big pull, so I was hoping that someone else would cover this move, but we all kind of just stared around at each other, and he got up the road really fast, bridged up to Alexi and Alan, and they are now a group of 3 up the road and pulling away, as we are still too big of a group to really work together and chase this down. So this right here, I'm looking back at as a big mistake on my part of not just going to shut that move down right away. With Daxton being one of the favorites, he can now just sit in and conserve energy while we are going to have to do the chasing. And this is going to set him up really nicely to save some energy to go into that last single track fresh. So with our group still being a little bit too big to work together, I'm going to have to take responsibility along with Lance and Finsty at really putting in some solid digs on any steep climbs that we have coming up to try and thin this group down to about 8 riders, which is a good number to where we can start rotating together to start chasing down that breakaway.
What could we see from the highest height?
What good are wings if I'm afraid to fly?
All of the tremors that I have inside got me scared. Will you be there?
If we're the last to learn that we crash and burn, and we'll never make it. If the smoke don't clear, could we face our fear that we never make it? Is it a chance we're taking? 'Cause I just can't lose you.
So here we are approaching the halfway mark of this race, and we have finally thinned our group down small enough to organize a chase together just in time for the headwind. However, we have a 3-minute and 30-second gap to the leaders, so we're gonna have to work really well together to close this gap back down before the finish.
If we're the last to learn that we crash and burn, and we'll never make it. If the smoke don't clear, could we face our fear that we never make it? Is it a chance we're taking? 'Cause I just can't lose you. that we crash and burn, and we'll never make it. If the smoke don't clear, could we face our fear that we'll never make it? Is it a chance worth taking? 'Cause I just can't lose you.
So here we are at mile 92, and the situation on the road is we have caught Alan from the breakaway, and that just leaves Alexi and Luke up the road, and last we heard the gap was about 1 to 1.5 minutes. Now we are a group of 6 right now, containing the big 3, Russell, Lance, and Dax, and then Cody Cup and another rider that I had not heard of until this race, Matthew Saldana, who is having a awesome ride out here and not missing a single turn, helping us chase down the breakaway. So huge props to you, Matthew, for making it this far in the race and riding super strong. Now, as we make our way up this climb, it kind of starts out a little bit rolly and steady, but it's gonna finish off with a super nice steep kick that gets us up to around 12 to 13% for a good minute to a minute and a half if we're pushing it hard. So this is the card I have been saving all race long, as I am pretty good at that type of effort, and I want to push it as hard as I can over that to try and create some separation in the group. Now it is going to be a headwind on the downhill and up the next hill towards that single track, so I don't want to be completely alone with a group chasing me. And as we get into this steep section here, we see that Finstey's on the front and he slowly turns up the pace, and then I bring it up one more notch coming up next to him, and as I do this, he turns it up another notch, and we are now doing 600 watts going up this steep hill. We take a look back and see that we are distancing the others, and I'm thinking to myself, this is an awesome situation. While it would be pretty difficult for me to think about sticking with Finstey in the single track and trying to beat him in the end, I still think this gives me a better shot at a higher overall placing versus if we are to go into that single track with all of us as a big group.
Don't lead me to my nightmares.
Walking outside looking like astonishment. Go ahead, tell them where you got the confidence. Should've never let you out of the apartments. Should've never let you pull off in that car you in. When your attitude short as the lease is. I don't understand if someone give me a thesis. With all those curves, no wonder why I'm always crashing to pieces. You like to blame, I'm the bad guy, baby, but I took the blame for the last guy. That's enough. You had a rough life, guess that's why you like it rough. Body of my dreams, if you leave, I promise it'd be my nightmare.
As we were pushing down the last few miles of this descent towards the final aid station, Russell and I keep looking back and see that we have a group of 3 chasing us down, and this is going to be Lance, Daxton, and Matthew. And as we approach this aid station here, they are right on our heels, and then we end up coming all back together. So this is going to create a little tricky situation, as we still have Luke up the road, so we can't afford to mess around and play too many games here, but we've all just spent a huge effort attacking each other, so it's going to be a little tricky for us to be cohesive. The lead up to the single track has a couple of rollers, and Finstey puts in a dig with about 2 to go, but this doesn't work as everyone chases him down, and I think we are all saving ourselves for that one final match up the last roller that heads us straight into that single track. As you guys saw, that entrance to the single track did not go super well for me. I thought I had it for a second, but then they all came up the inside and I went in fourth, and now they are slowly pulling away from myself. Now all I can do is ride as hard as I can while trying to keep it on 2 wheels and see if I can close down on any of them in the finish.
That all came together really quickly there. Good job to Lance Hayden in third place. Luke Mostow from Bearhouse 15 is going to take fifth. So we have Joe Goettl.
Dude, I launched them.
All right, so we have your top 5.
We got fifth. We got the box. Oh, that was hard. I tagged, but they came in my inside into the single track. I stayed with them for a little bit, but I just couldn't hang. Like Russell, Daxton, and Lance,
Really good.
they're solid. And then that guy, that one, he was off the front of the breakaway, and I like almost caught him. Like I started cramping right at the end. Yeah, it was like inner thigh cramp. I kind of like felt it like way out in the race. Like I wasn't too tired, but I felt the legs. Like I think the legs just aren't there right now. And I was like, ooh, like I don't know, like, but yeah, more of like a technical skill thing having that at the end. I'm glad I left this on because like that helped. Like that was game changer. So give me one more hug. Thank you.
And the Waffle Elite Man in 5th place, out of Sandy, Utah, riding for Goettl Media. Let's welcome Joe Goettl.
What'd we get?
Alrighty folks, we got 5th in the race and we got 5th in the overall. So pretty stoked on that. Awesome way to end the series off after a really tough Arizona and California. I thought I was completely out of the running, so to land on the box in 5th place, like yeah, super happy with that. So overall, I think we made some really good strides this year in the series. We had some difficulties in the first 2, but you know, the win in Utah was amazing, and then a 5th place here to back that up was like pretty sweet too. Really cool, closest finish in BWR history. All top 5 of us were within 25 seconds of each other, so that's another really cool thing. You know, I knew I would have a hard time keeping up with them on the single track, and I wasn't able to quite do it, but to be that close at the finish is like, it's a good step forward. So yeah, overall couldn't be too much happier with how the whole thing went. And yeah, just thank you guys all for following along for this whole series and watching the videos. We got more races to come, so there'll be a lot more videos, and looking forward to next year already, trying to keep moving up.
So happy it hurt when they walked out the door.